All systems nominal.
それでは早速全速前進
You don't know what the weak point of a mech is? The fucking pilot.
Get away from her, you bitch!
His papers say he was a raven.
Protocol 3.
A pattern blue!
Welcome to On the Shoulders of Giants, a giant robot power hour discussing mechs across media, their stories, and why we love them. I'm Alice, and I'm joined by Brian.
I just need to remember when the white people in my life are acting up that they are in safe mode.
And Nico.
Come on, everyone! Let's attack the Twin Towers at the same time!
This time around, we're discussing Cyberpunk 0079, or as it's more often called, Synduality Noir. Let's launch into it!
We need to say something up front, and it's that Alice has made us watch a CGI thing 3 times in a row, and I cannot handle anymore.
Alice is in the pocket of big CGI. It's a big pocket. It's unrealistically textured. Alice, what the fuck was this?
Synduality Noir was produced by Bandai Namco in 2023. Bandai Namco, as you might know, are the people who created Gundam and all of those wonderful little toys. This was another attempt of theirs to try and introduce another IP into the gunpla mecha industry. So when this was designed, it originally is a video game, right? A video game, an anime, and a light novel, all releasing at about the same time. The idea of this is there's kind of a surge of multimedia kind of creations in Japan right now, where you have things that, it's not just a show, it's also an idol group, and also there's a gacha game. And so this is a Bandai's attempt at that.
Dark.
No, if you had told me that this was also meant to launch a VTuber, I would believe you.
Oh, yeah.
Just based on the character of Ciel.
Hey, we'll get to my favorite girl in a while.
I knew.
But the idea of this being, that if you produce everything from front to end, you own the entire IP. So currently there are 2 model kits already out and available in like the US and everything. One for Daisy Ogre and one for the big white boy. I wrote its name down because I always forget. Gilbao. The Gilbao.
The big white boy is correct.
But the big white boy. But the general idea is they currently have their main IP of Gundam, right? Gundam, everybody knows what Gundam is. It's this big AAA franchise.
Even I know at this point.
But do you know what 30-minute missions is?
No.
I think that's isn't that a Gunpla producer? I think they're doing stuff for Armored Core, right?
Correct. Also by Bandai.
Shit.
So 30, so it's like, it never really took off because if you're not the big IP, who cares, right? So their idea here is to create, instead of a AAA, an A or a B level quality that they can make a whole series of and kind of get its own fan base. It doesn't have to be Gundam levels with millions of spinoffs, but there are already spinoffs, right? So
yeah, capitalism breeds innovation. And spinoffs.
Capitalism breeds innovation. That's why we have the same plot as Gundam in this non-Gundam IP that they decided to make.
Yeah, so something that I find
Different IP where? Sorry.
Something I find very interesting about this is, like, there's no single writer attributed to the anime. This is designed by committee.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Oh, word?
So...
Oh my God.
This was produced mostly, so the accompanying video game, which is Echo of Ada, a character you meet in this show, spoiler, was being produced and was going to come out at the same time. But when they saw how this show was getting a lot of traction in Japan, they pulled it back and put more money in to actually develop it into a full-fledged game. So it still hasn't come out yet, because they wanted to make it more than just like a little tie-on video game.
I mean, as someone who played Gundam Evo, that's hard to believe.
I was just going to say, the track record here is a little bit... This is insane information. Honestly,
They said, build a waifu and they will come.
The way this show literally feels like someone is playing with blocks that each have a trope on them.
Yes.
You know there's a famous South Park episode about how Family Guy is written by manatees putting like labeled balls into
just
slots.
grabbing different topics.
That's how this was, but every ball was like an Evangelion reference or a Gundam reference.
or a Macross reference.
Or a
The
Macross
whole
reference.
style is an Edge Runners reference. Like, it's got this whole cyberpunk veneer for no reason. Why are there maids and butlers?
Hey,
What is
some of the best
happening?
characters in the show. So, okay. So I want to talk about the director of this anime because
Alex Garland, right?
yeah,
Dennis Villeneuve.
helped on this. He consulted on the military parts of the show and really gave some good advice there. So the director, Yusuke Yamamoto. Is this a name you know?
No.
I feel like I should know it, especially because you asked me that just now.
You shouldn't. And here's why.
Context, please.
Okay.
He has done one mech media before this, Knights and Magic, which is an adaptation of a light novel, which is basically, what if fantasy mechs? So they're literally giant armored suit men fighting giant orc goblins. It's literally magic-infused mechs. It's a
watch
pretty
it.
cool concept. We'll
Can I
probably
watch
cover
that?
it at some point. It's problematic.
Oh, word?
Word?
Just fighting orcs?
This guy doing anything like that?
I want to talk about this
Crazy.
man's track record in directing. So that's his
Oh, boy.
one mech, right? Besides that, he did a lot of storyboarding before he became a director. But what was kind of his directorial debut is a little show called Shonen Maid, in which a young boy goes to become the live-in maid for an eccentric designer who lives alone in a mansion. It's Shotokan. That's it. It's a Shotokan series.
Oh, God.
Problematic. Very
That
problematic.
explains Flame a lot.
Yeah, it explains Flame almost entirely.
100%. But in a few years since then, he's done a couple that I love, which, if my favorite pop idol made it to the Budokan, I would die, which is also based on a manga, and it's basically a girl, Wada OG, who's really into idols, cheers for an indie idol, and that's the whole series. It's very gay. Actually good, but from different source material, right? He had nothing to do with the writing. There was a staff writer. Then he is the director of Encouragement of Climb, which is a soft yuri shoujo ai about two girls who just want to go hiking. And it's about them and their friends hiking. It's gotten 3 series, a bunch of OVA spinoffs, but again,
What the fuck?
yeah.
Every day Alice wakes up and says words to me. Like, I just legitimately, you've named like 4 things that I'm just like, I've never heard of this shit in my life. It's got 3 seasons and multiple OVAs. What the fuck are you talking about?
You would like Encouragement of Climb because it's just, it's adorable. I think a lot of people would enjoy it because it's just as like, guys, go hike, go touch grass, and also maybe
Women
hold
walking.
hands of girls.
Women
Supper.
be
Multiple
walking.
seasons.
Women
Be walking in nature.
But that's all he's really done. The stuff that he has done well has been adapted from well-existing works that had writers and the writers involved. And then the stuff that kind of fell off and is kind of problematic, he had a little involvement in. But this is really the one that he's kind of... I don't want to say that this is his director voice coming through because I think you both kind of felt how designed by committee this show is.
It is literally, Brian could not have put it together better. It feels like you're rolling those story dice that everyone gets writers for Christmas.
Yeah.
We watched the first season, which is 12 episodes. It is currently in its 2nd season, which might be wrapping up by the time this episode comes out. 2nd season, just as great. I'm a real big fan.
How much terrorism do they do in that one?
We'll get into it.
The normal amount.
But we only watched the first season because it's pretty well encapsulated. It has some cliffhangers leading in, but it kind of shows what they want to do with this. What else is part of the franchise so far? So there's the unreleased game, The Echo of Ada, which is going to kind of delve into coffins, changing parts. There's some pretty cool videos of the systems that they've already built, and it's looking like it's going to be a pretty good build-your-own mecha with parts kind of fighter. There's a couple of mini episodes that go with the series that kind of explain the world around it and give you more information than is in the show, kind of in a little cartoony format. There is both a manga and a light novel about Ellie, the childhood friend. And then the other one that I really wanted to call out, and I think you both felt, was the Love Live crossover in episode 8.
Oh, word.
Which one do you think was the Love Live song in this show, guys?
I have to say something at the top about episode 8, which is that I had my finger on that right arrow key a lot.
I warned both of you, and I'll warn anybody listening to this. Episode 8 has no mechs. Episode 8 is the fan service episode.
Episode 8 leached my life force. I'm lesser now.
I literally watched probably I legit stopped to actually watch probably 6 or 7 minutes of episode 8. I could not believe what was happening. In 12 episodes, this is how you're going to use your economy on the script.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they produced all their world building episodes as bonuses in cartoony form instead of as part of the show.
So that we could have the fucking Love Live episode. My God.
That's kind of the history and what brought us to Synduality Noir, a thing I own a gunpla from. What did you guys know about Synduality Noir before we got into it?
I had just seen GIFs on Twitter, which were none of which really encapsulated what was going to happen to me. So,
what about you, Nico?
I knew nothing other than when you proposed it and the phrase, the girl turns into a spicy Latina. And that hung over me like the specter of communism over Europe. I was terrified the whole time. I'm like, when is it going to happen? When are they going to do a racial insensitivity to me? And they waited. They waited a long time. It's like in horror movies, you don't show the monster too early. Okay? That drains your suspense. You wait to show the monster. And the monster was this fucking show.
Fucking cooling breaths about all of that. But in happier moments, the first few episodes are pretty good.
Yeah.
Honestly.
They're definitely interesting.
Yeah.
So let's give a synopsis. So this is, of course, of the first season. And I'm going to say this. The synopsis on the internet mostly talk about the game setting, which the show has very little to do with.
Oh, yeah. Vanishingly little to do with unless it's about tits.
Game might be about tits. The year is 2242. After a catastrophe a century ago called Tears of the New Moon, people now lived in domed cities called nests to protect from the rain and the evil creatures that spawn from it called Enders. Kanata is a young man living in the rock town nest, and he wants to be a drifter, a person who pilots a coffin being a highly mobile mech that is the main weapon used in the fight against the Enders. Unfortunately for Kanata, he has almost no aptitude for piloting, and worst of all, he has no Magus to assist. Magus, who are sometimes called the Friends of Humanity, are advanced AI-based androids who help in day-to-day antics and in piloting coffins. While scavenging the wastes, Kanata meets Noir, who is a dud Magus with no memories at all. However, because Noir excels in battle against the Enders, Kanata partners with her and discovers exactly what it is to be a drifter. Over time, the large cast of characters help to teach Kanata and Noir how to be a better partner to each other. Meeting others and facing challenges along the way, the two eventually come to our Season 1 finale battle and unlock the true potential to save Rocktown with their drifter's spirit.
Is that what happened?
And with that, let's head to the break.
Is that what happened?
Is that what happened?
Hey, Nico here in the break. Just wanted to let you know that while this is a podcast, and we'll always do our best to describe visuals we're commenting on, we'll also include links to the mechs and images we discuss in the show notes, and post actual photos on our show website. Along with that, make sure to check the show notes for content warnings as appropriate to the episode. That's all for now. Back to the show. This show is obsessed with nouns.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
The show, so a couple things I want to talk about. Let's just get into the world building. Let's get into the nouns.
Yeah.
The show has a lot of nouns, and yet not enough nouns. It is missing a lot of details and words for things. So in researching this, I tried to find a name for every main mech we see. They just don't name some. Michael and Bob, we never get a name for their mech.
Oh.
There is no mech name on the official website. I could not find.
That's upsetting.
in
It's the
any of
blue
it.
one.
It's the blue one.
It's blue. Bob rules.
I've broken this into 4 parts. We're going to talk about the episodes in chunks of 3, basically, just because it kind of naturally falls into that.
That makes sense.
I was just going to say, masked guy shows up like literally every 3 episodes was something I noticed, and I was like, well, that's convenient for talking about it.
Oh, you mean our friend?
You mean my favorite character?
White Mask?
Black Mask.
Black Mask.
Yeah.
Kuro Mask, who is totally not Shar Aznavour.
I was wondering. I've never met Shar Aznavour in my life, but I was like, is this him?
Cannot get over his character.
He is Shar Aznavour, he is Zex Marquise, he is every masked psychopath in all of Gundam. It's all the same person, and it's this guy.
They literally
Okay, but I
just
do
it all into one
appreciate-
character.
I'm sorry. I know it's not in order, but I just
No, we
gotta
gotta
say, I
say
do
it.
appreciate that he's canonically a virgin.
True. That's true. We have to talk about
I
that
want to be
episode. Okay.
also very clear. Everyone in this show is listed at an adult age in Western culture.
Including Fame?
Yes, because 1,000-year-old android vibes is what you
yes,
have to
the
know
classic.
with her. So part 1, which I'm calling the getting the feet wet portion, so like the first 3 episodes in any one of these animes, we have to, establish our world, our characters, and the challenges they face. So Kanata and his friend are digging through some ruins. Did you guys pick up, based on the city skyline we see, what city they're in?
Oh my god.
Oh, not at all. Tokyo?
Is it Boulder, Colorado? Like
Is it Boulder, Colorado?
Yeah, it's Boulder,
like in
Colorado.
Horizon Zero Dawn?
Is this game canonically what happens after the stand?
Listen, I wouldn't put it past them. They're like, we need a post-apocalypse. Hold on.
Can you
What
imagine the
city?
Stephen King version of this, though?
Oh, it
The
would
women
be
weren't
somehow
written even worse.
I know. I
be
was about
worse. It
to
would
say
be
the
worse.
sexuality would be even weirder, but in a different direction.
Oh, you know what? Man would be Claudia's mom, and they would have a horrible relationship.
No, what city is it, Alice?
So they go to this museum. They're digging around looking for stuff.
Alice, what city is it?
I'm not
can't leave me in
gonna give you that
suspense.
spoiler. You gotta figure that out on your own.
Spoiler!
It's London.
Wow.
The fuck? Okay,
Weird.
hold on. I only watched the original with subs. Does everyone have a Cockney accent in this?
In the dub version? No, they do
Oi,
not.
Kanata, you me pilot?
I said the Maccas.
my
Drift on over the Maccas. We gonna get some lamb
Cheeky
shanks.
Nando's?
Cheeky Nando's.
Some 3D printed cheeky Nando's.
Oh God. Okay. So they find Noir laying in a bed of flowers.
A bed of living roses for whatever fucking
Those
reason.
are hydrangeas.
Are they?
I honestly, to me,
cares?
my brain turned off because I was like, oh, okay, we're doing Chobits, we're doing
It's literally
Evangelion.
Chobits. I
It's
felt
literally
like I was
Chobits.
losing my mind. I was like, isn't this just Chobits?
Yeah, so they find a Magus just sleeping. He turns her on. She's like, I don't know who I am. And he's like, okay, come with me.
I just love the fact. Okay, we've developed a little bit since Chobits. Okay, he didn't need to finger her to turn her on.
No, he did.
True. Just not well,
Just on
not,
the neck.
not finger blast her is what Nico means, I
Need to
think.
finger blast her, a legendary part of Chobits. No, he just needed to remove her clothes at some point.
For those who have never seen Chobits, to turn on a Chobits android, you have to reach your hand near their genitalia, which they
in their genitalia.
and flip a switch. Literally, you have to finger them to turn them on and off. So
No, you're right. It is hydrangeas. Jesus.
yeah,
Sorry, that was important to me.
it sunflower update. So yeah, we basically have this. We established that Kanata is obsessed with old world tech. His friend Tokyo is
Tom Paris vibes.
vibing out with him. This whole series of episodes is just to establish the world and the characters. So it's literally we need to learn how to work together, and I can pilot with her. So you bond with a Magnus by touching your thumbprint to their throat, and they become, I don't want to say
They become your property, they're slaves.
Yeah, they become your property. Yeah, we've got a major Star Wars droid problem happening.
We
in this
really
show.
do. I have that in my notes too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Especially with how deeply uninterested this show is in what any of this actually means for like their free will and their
I
sentience.
have like 20 notes maximum. 6 of them are just me trying to articulate my thoughts about Magus.
Did anybody
What's the
write down
plural?
the 3 rules of a Magnus?
Oh, I did.
Okay.
Here they are. Let me scroll down. The 3 rules of Magus.
So much like Asimov's 3 rules of robotics.
Wait, can I take a run? Can I take a run at them really quick before you say what they actually
Yes,
are?
I want you what they think they are, and then what they
Okay,
are.
I'm pretty sure it's like you have to be best friends.
Gotta be besties. Yep. Rule 1.
You have to have a character arc.
Literally. You gotta grow together. Have a character.
And what is the last? The last one is like weirdly practical. It's like you have to protect them or something.
No,
Don't
here
kill
it is.
humans.
This is what I wrote down.
I'm ready.
The 3 laws of Magus. Get married. Become besties. Support the hustle.
God damn it.
The rules. No, literally, it's make a contract, become close with your pilot, and then support their growth. And I'm like, this is trad wife shit.
This is tradwife shit.
You mean seal tradwife shit?
I think what we can mostly say about the first 3 episodes is just the cast, which is mostly what it's doing.
Yeah.
I wrote down the cast. Let's go through our list of characters and their coffins, if that's okay.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Also, fucking wild thing to call them coffins, right?
See, this is the thing with this show. The first 3 episodes give you so many nouns and world building. I was like interested despite myself, right?
Yeah.
Like I was like, ooh, this is really interesting, especially when you see how the Magus get into the coffin. It looks like a coffin. I'm like, oh, this is so cool and evocative.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it doesn't fucking matter.
I don't like how big the coffin space is. It's such a waste of
I
space.
agree. It's so huge.
That's you.
It's Gundam sized.
That's y'all.
These are little bionicles. What are you talking about?
That's y'all.
They literally lay in there as stiff as a board, and we're like, give us some breathing room in there.
Sleeping like Dracula in there.
So to explain what a coffin is, it's your standard little chicken leg ass mech with rollerblades on its wheels, and the coffin part of it is on the back. There's literally like a big backpack that the Magus climbs in and lays in, and then bonds with the pilot, and they go into like a alternate reality VR cockpit. We see it where we see what they actually look like in the cockpit, and then what their virtual one with their Magus is.
What they actually look like is some Ghost in the Shell shit, right? Like they have that big ass like contraption with the visor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally looks like a Ghost in the Shell big mech, kind of fully encased.
Pretty cool. I liked all
it.
of this.
I like this good. I like the
and
displays.
I will say the ankle deployed rollerblades bullshit is straight out of Eureka 7. I was hooting and hollering. I love it so much.
It's very cool, especially the few times you see these things just try to walk. Like, there's a point in the episode where they go to check out the devastated nest, and he tries to just walk away, and he looks so stupid. Just the way the legs move, it's very funny.
It looks hilarious. The way the mechs like gesticulate too is so funny. Like they're just like little characters.
They're little guys.
Yeah.
I
I'm
guys.
this is a little sneak peek. I really like these.
I
really
love
like
these little
these mechs.
freaks. I love these
I've
little
been so
freaks.
quiet because I'm sitting here like, they got kits of these, huh?
Same.
So currently only Daisy Ogre, the first variant, and Killbow, not the ones I want yet. I got the Killbow just because I love that aesthetic, but it's not the full variant that comes out in season 2. Anyway, they're making
I need the
more.
purple one. I need Tokyo's.
Tokyo's
really bad.
Oh, okay.
The Unit 1 one.
Tokyo's whips.
Let's get
Okay.
in it.
All right, we gotta go.
So our first pilot Magus pair is Kanata and Noir, who pilot the Daisy Ogre. Any thoughts on these boys? This little guy. This is your generic
I like the
Gundam.
I like the chain whip.
She was pretty cool.
I like Daisy Ogre.
I like Daisy Ogre.
I will say, I don't think there's a mech in this that I don't like, because I will say, all of them are very stylish. This is kind of the cyberpunk aesthetic veneer on a lot of this. Like, there are some that are more cyber, there are some that are more punk, but all of them have this, like, because they are so bulky in the body, and then the limbs and the legs are kind of small, and, like, they have different things. They have horns, or they have...
And the horns are
shoulder-mounted
functional.
guns.
Like, everything on these things is a very functional piece. Very few of them are like... So I'm just going to give you... Because they honestly, like... They have a good website, which is a horrible thing to say, but if you go to the mechanics section, it lists off... Don't go... Like, some of these are the season 2 ones. But this lists the character, like the mechs that we know of.
Oh, fuck. See, I hate this because it's like, okay, you know they're just making the show to make toys. Unfortunately,
It's working.
they whip.
Unfortunately, it's working.
Oh, look at them.
Yeah, so Daisy Ogre is kind of your generic dude. It's got 2 little Oni horns on it that are sensor beams for it. Every mech in this uses generally just a gun that it carries and multiple different weapons. So Daisy Ogre has a chain whip to him that's pretty fucking rip shit cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like him. I like his colors. The aesthetic of everything in this is very cyberpunk, you know, bright neon colors.
My shit entirely.
Oh my god, I didn't know the Gilbow had rabbit ears.
So, but it's the white rabbit.
Oh my god, that's so
It's
cute.
the moon rabbit, technically, but so that's our first pair. Then his best
My
friend
favorite.
/ brother,
My
Tokyo,
fucking favorite.
Tokyo and Muton.
Oh, yeah.
Muton being the Magus, who is the butler.
Butler?
Get your finger on that Dilf alert drop, Nico.
Dilf alert.
This
Yes.
motherfucker is everything to me. I'm obsessed with
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Love how he treats him. So he's basically the like, I am the butler keeping you chaste, young master, and the guy's just like, I just want to have a fun time and get rich. Like that's his whole thing. His coffin is the John Gasmaker, John Gasmaker.
The names on these things are fucking weird. I will say that.
I love them. They're so weird.
So his literally looks like it has an old Soviet style gas mask on it.
Yeah,
It's
it
purple
super
and
does.
yellow, looks like Unit 1. It has a pile driver to punch with. He uses more of a long rifle than Kanata. And yeah, he pilots with Magus, who is just, his Magus is just the coolest dude ever.
The classic butler archetype. It's incredible.
Yeah, but
Full
like
young
hot.
master.
But like
Yeah.
really hot.
God, he's so hot.
Dilf alert.
Did you really enjoy the casino interlude when clothes started coming off him?
I really did.
When they were just running. Oh yeah, when he's like, no, young master, he kept winning
will
all the
strip for
bets.
this.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Okay, so on the other side we have Shar Aznable, Black Mask and Schnee.
Sneeze.
Schnee. Schnee really is that
Schnee is her real
Smurf-ass
ass
name.
name. So
Schnee.
Smurf.
Schnee is another cool type, a Magus who pilots the Gilbow with Black Mask. The Gilbow being this all white with red accent, really hyper advanced coffin, obviously like higher grade than any of these junkers around. He's cool. He wears a coat with tails every day, and she wears a long evening
And he's
gown.
never fucked.
And he's never fucked.
He's never fucked.
Then we have on the good guy side, Ellie and Angie. Ellie is the childhood friend, and Angie is her Magus. And they pilot a Leolid, which is the general, like, main guy, is what I've figured out. But it's her version of it. So her version, the Ellie version, is yellow with a blue, like, hat and everything. And the Aventure little logos on it, because she's part of that group. She uses a bullpup rifle, and an axe is her thing. She's the
I
twin
love
tail
the folding
tsundere.
axe.
She's
I love the folding axe.
yeah,
She's annoying, but
Yeah. She's aggravating.
she's problematic.
she aggravates me.
Then we have the leader of Aventure, Michael and Bob.
Can I say out loud that Michael seems to be borrowing a lot from Leo Fotina's, at least aesthetic? He doesn't have the edge, but he has the look.
I want to call it right now at the top. Michael as my special little guy.
You know what?
Michael's really funny. I mean, my note when he shows up is like, I mean, they're gay. Tokyo and Michael
Tokyo
are,
and okay.
Their relationship.
they're gay. They're in love.
Here's what I'll say. Tokyo makes everyone gay around him, but especially Michael.
They're in love.
I just love how Michael comes from a rich family, but he's not like mean about being the #1 rated, drifter squad Aventure. He's just like, oh yeah, you didn't make the cut. When you're ready, when you can join Aventure Kanata. But he's not like mean about it. He's only mean to Tokyo because they're flirting, right? And it's more of a competition between them.
Allegedly for a woman. And that woman is gay.
That woman is gay. With Michael, we have there are 2 black characters, neither of which are stereotypical at all. So that's good.
Can
at
I
least,
say
right?
can I say right at the top so we don't have to address it again? So Michael's money comes from the fact that his family runs like a big farm, right? They
Yeah.
produce produce, which is very rare in this world. Most food is 3D printed. His family makes real vegetables,
Yeah.
which sell for a high price. And at some point you find out, so he has one of, like you said, one of only 2 black characters as his servant.
Yeah.
And eventually you see a whole bunch more of them, presumably who staff the big farm, which could be called maybe a plantation
Yeah.
that his family.
Look, it's so bad. It's so bad.
I had that realization last night and I just laid in bed. That's why I couldn't go to sleep until 3 a.m.
It's really foul, and it's one of the worst things this fucking thing dares to do.
Yeah.
Also, though, Bob is constantly calling Michael an idiot, and like
Yes.
in like the most backhanded ways. It is hilarious. I'm obsessed with their dynamic.
I do like
It made me
when the other
wonder-
ones show up and it's Rob, Todd, and like they all have just Bob names, and
But that got to me too, because I'm like, oh, so these people are literally disposable. There's nothing unique about them. They just have like random ass.
I was confused
loves
as to what
Bob.
was happening. I thought I was hallucinating.
so
Well, that's half this show.
Like, I was like, they wouldn't dare. They wouldn't dare.
So there's 2 kinds of Magus, right? There's a type 0, which are the ones who existed from before the fall of the Empire 20 years ago. So Noir, Schnee, no, Angie is
Ada.
one. Yeah, Ada.
Ada is one. Flame is one.
Seal is one.
Yeah.
And then there
they can
are
do sorcery.
They can do, yeah, that's a
They can straight up do magic.
just, by the way, they can just cast magic. We'll get into
Yeah,
that.
they
That's
have AoEs and shit.
they have special attacks where they come out
Yeah.
as ghosts and cast fire
Damn,
spells.
can you tell that this was supposed to have an integrated video game?
Right?
They have ults, yeah.
And then you have modern Magus, which are basically mass-produced. So Bob is a mass-produced model. That's why he has multiple that look like him. But yeah, problematic that you're like, oh, these ones aren't as good as the other ones.
Yeah,
they're
I mean,
less.
the racial stuff in this show, we'll touch on it again later. It's just weird, but it was funny to me because I couldn't help but think like I've mentioned a couple times, this show has a strong cyberpunk aesthetic. And the one thing that like cyberpunk, like when Edge Runners was made, it was pulling from cyberpunk, the Western idea of it, and Night City basically being part of California. There was a lot of racial diversity, even if it wasn't particularly handled well. You know, I'm thinking of the Voodoo Boys, but like there were a lot of non-white faces on screen. And it made me think, because they're very rare, but occasionally you do see non-white people in this. It made me think like when they were lifting the aesthetic, they were like, should we also have this? And they just had no idea. Again, because this was written by committee, they had no idea what the fuck to do with any of this.
Yeah.
I was thinking very fondly of Cowboy Bebop and Shinichiro Watanabe. I believe that's who did Cowboy Bebop. And like his experience, like going to New Orleans, getting to know the jazz scene, like caring about these issues and diversity in his settings, and then like contrasted against this. It's like when they lifted all the graffiti, they were like, should we bring some black people with this? And then just didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
That's so true.
I have more to say about this later.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
we have to get to Claudia.
Well, wait, first, we're going by appearance order, right? So we have
okay.
Maria
Yeah.
and the maids.
And the maids.
Maria being one of the greatest characters ever written. She's
This woman is a dyke.
drunk lesbian. Yep, drunk lesbian who just wants the exact same model wearing a maid outfit to help her make rockets. That's her
Yeah.
whole shtick.
It's really good. She's genuinely super good.
She is over there doing some Werner von Braun shit.
She's a good person. She helps out. She loves her city, but she just wants to get drunk and have 5 of the same looking maids to help her around, which is, you know,
relatable, aspirational.
she doesn't pilot anything. She is just a mechanic. But then, yeah, Claudia and Flame. Let's talk about them.
Claudia is boobs.
Claudia's boobs. But she's also Revolver Ocelot.
I was kidding. She's Revolver Ocelot with, who's the bitch from 3 that also has the...
Eve?
Yeah, she's Eve and Revolver Ocelot in one.
Yeah.
She's your sexy, mysterious sniper type. She's Widowmaker, right? Like
Doesn't wear a bra.
doesn't wear a bra.
Super problematic.
That's the problematic part. She needs some back support.
Comes on to both Kanata and Flom. Flom is the loli.
She has this weird fucking
Child.
loli Nae-sama relationship with it hurts. It's really painful to watch and look at on the screen.
I like her as kind of a like a Han Solo type, like kind of a scoundrel. Unfortunately, everything else about her design and her whole situation undermines anything cool that comes from her being kind of a scoundrel.
Yeah, but she has one of the best mechs for sure.
Yeah, the Glenn Shinobi.
Oh god, the mech whips.
The Glenn Shinobi is just, it's all black with purples and pinks. It's a sniper-based ranged mech.
It's got neon
It is.
on the
It's
front.
got neon on the front,
So
and it
fucking
has like
cool.
these like smoke grenade bullshit it can do. It's so awesome.
It whips. It's legitimately very cool. Unfortunately, everything else.
You'll never guess what Flom's superpower is. It's fire.
It's flaw.
It's Flom.
It's flom. It's floms. Floms on the side of my face.
Yeah, when I see the fucking lolicon shit going on with this.
Flames on the side of my face.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, we'll touch on this more when we discuss the Magus more, but like there's a lot going on here with Magus and sexuality, which is really wild.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So we have Alba and Ada are our last two that I kind of want to bring up because everybody else is
Sir appearing in one episode.
the people from the video game, and they pilot the Bowie Rabbit, which isn't on here, but I did grab a picture of. It's this kind of pink and blue. It's the trans one, and it's a rabbit type. They're really only
I
in
love
for
its
one
big
episode.
square ears.
I
This
know.
thing whips too.
Man, shout out to Alba and Ada, who both trans their gender.
It's interesting too that because I didn't know this about those characters, but in my notes when they showed up, I was like, this guy is literally the main character of a different thing, and I was right. Like
He's got his whole other story, and this is his side story.
He has his own very cool moniker.
yeah.
You know, he's watertight.
Like, this is literally like, you can already envision when you in the video game go to this place and you run into Kanata and Noir, and there's a whole like arc in the video game, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey
Yeah.
guys, remember?
100%. So I think that's mostly what the first 3 episodes are doing.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
literally
to
just
say
giving
a few
us
things
these.
about episode 3. Real quick, another thing that we get introduced to is the aliens, the Enders, which are like...
Oh, yeah.
By the way, the
What if,
aliens they're aliens. The Enders are aliens. They're cool as fuck.
They look pretty cool. I was just thinking, what if the guy who made Voices of a Distant Star had more time and money?
Yeah.
I feel like he would make something that looked a little bit more like these.
Yeah.
They're like malleable, organic looking, weird alien types.
And wheels.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're wheels.
Yeah. Sometimes they're just tires.
Sometimes they're grasshoppers, and sometimes they're, some of these might be mimics too.
Yeah.
The like bug-like ones that come in at the end.
They remind me a lot of...
Freerin is going to get caught in one of them. It's going to be problematic.
I was thinking of mimics from Prey, like the black gooey amorphous,
Yes.
Oh, true.
It's an interesting, and it contrasts well. I think an important thing in mech media is you have to have your enemy contrast well with your mech. And they do contrast because they are like mostly black with some purple accents, and they are way different shapes. So when you see the mechs fighting these things, the visual contrast works, I think.
Yeah.
Episode 3. We got to get into
Episode
the greatest
3.
episode in this show.
I genuinely was like laughing out loud joyfully at this episode because
It was so good.
they go to Desire, which I have to say this up front.
Brian, tell me what Desire Nest is.
Yeah, Desire Nest is a brothel city.
It's Amsterdam.
It's Amsterdam. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed this. When they go there, it's nighttime and it's not as obvious. But then at the end of the episode, when it's morning, the city's a pile of tits.
It's all tits.
The city is a pile of breasts on the mountainside. It's all tits
The
all
domes
the way
literally
down.
have nipples. It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I do love humanity. To give you kind of the backstory, humanity was in bunkers. A lot of them still are in bunkers. It's kind of the plot of the game. The Nest are the people who live on the top side and like get raw materials and stuff. I love the idea of we got to start a nest that's just a fucking nest. That's
The
it.
fucking nest. Let's go to fuck
Separate
city.
from the gamble nest, by the way, which is its own thing. Okay?
Yeah.
The fucking nest is different.
Yeah, I wondered if they were doing a 7 Deadly Sins thing, but
Kind of,
like,
yeah.
What's Rock Nest Deadly Sin?
What?
despair.
Oh, ooh.
It's the 8th Catholic sin. It's despair.
It's the 8th Catholic sin. But no, the only thing that I really need to get out about this is that we get Kanata kind of being like pushed into going to a brothel.
To lose his virginity.
And that's where he meets Shar Aznavour for the first time.
Waiting to be
And
called.
It's so fucking funny because we get a tuxedo mask ass music cue. This guy is so stoic and like regal and mysterious, and he's like, "Your first time, huh?" And Kanata's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "It's also my first time." It's so fucking funny.
He is 100% like sitting there looking all regal, and he's like, "You seem nervous, young lad." And he's like, "Yeah, it's my first time." And he just cold ass in the same cool ass tone is like, "My first time too."
You know, people talk a lot about the Virgin Chad dichotomy. For the first time ever, we're meeting a Virgin Chad.
Why is he there, Brian?
We get a hint at okay, this is also, I want to know if my read on this is accurate.
Okay.
Yes.
So we get the subplot that Mask Guy is looking for something called a key because there's like a promised land trope ass thing out there called paradise that the key will lead him to. My read on it is that he saw some sex workers promise to take him to paradise, aka an orgasm, and he read that as his special stately mission, which is why he was there in the first place.
So apparently one of his own guys said that to him. There's a line later where Schnee is like, yeah, the guy who told you this was making a metaphor.
Yeah, because she's chastising him.
He was making a metaphor and you missed it, my beautiful autistic bastard.
Exactly. The important part is that he misapprehends this.
To the point that he doesn't grab Schnee, he doesn't grab any backup. He's like, "I have to head there right now. This is my chance
I have to go
get the
immediately."
key.
Schnee is straight up walking down the highway. I'm obsessed with this fucking man.
My note on this scene is all caps, villain virginity in the whorehouse. And then just the music sting when it pans up to him sitting in the chair, like cross-legged, like full like every masked guy in Gundam ever, but also a virgin.
He's got that wide dick stance.
Yeah.
He's got it, he's got the whole just looking at it. He has a mask on, like cool ass sci-fi mask. Ugh.
I love what I love most about that scene is that he's sitting in the lobby of the whorehouse with his number, waiting to be called, with our plucky shonen pro tag, and they like immediately bond just from like saying weird lines to each other.
It's so good. It's just so good.
They formed this immediate camaraderie.
Two autists with a shared interest of coffins meld together in Magnus.
Of coffins and the world before. Like, it's so fucking fun.
So fucking funny.
But we get so much world building in that, and also the virginity continues. Nobody gets laid in this episode.
Nobody gets laid in this episode.
A major plot point is the tsundere childhood friend, the Asuka Langley of our series, but bad.
No, don't put that on Asuka's name.
Can we just call her Rei Ayanami, by the way? She's not Noir.
No.
She's like,
because that's Noir.
She's like
Noir is
bad.
Rei Ayanami.
I know.
This show is nothing.
Shows
nothing.
So yeah, we really don't get anything. Some world building. We, as the viewer, pick up that Noir is the key, obviously.
There's a weird element. So this show, obviously it has a really strong cyberpunk aesthetic, especially in Rock Nest. For some reason, Desire Nest is like 1800s
Victorian.
themed. Like all the guys are wearing Western style suits,
top hats,
and it's really funny because it's like there's such a weird maid butler thing that crops up occasionally around the Magus, and then this cropped up, and I'm like, what is the aesthetic? Like, was the world before Victorian, and then it rained really hard, and we became cyberpunk? I was so
don't think
confused.
It's that deep. I think it's just that the whorehouse city has a theme, and Victorian era like repression sex is like such a kink. I feel like that's why Lolita exists.
So much of this show is just badly deployed kink. So yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Badly deployed kink.
It is.
My read is weird. Is that the drifters are the punks? Because all the other nests are kind of more normal humans without bright colors, and all the punks are like punkish.
Yeah, they're edge runners.
But also, to Brian's point, they pulled out the ball that said Victorian theme for Desire Nest. They picked out the Vegas cabaret theme for the other one. They just pull out the ball. Rock Nest says they pulled out and it said Edge Runners ?
Yeah. I love the painting that we get every time. The establishing painting shot of Rock Town is always the same one, and it's that one of the market, and we get it like 100 times throughout the course of these 12 episodes.
Rocktown is the market, and then I guess there are some buildings, but it's
like it stands out to me because you know what it looks like? It looks like the background of a visual novel dialogue scene. And we get it, we see it so often.
It's from that exact angle.
We skipped a character.
Who did we skip?
By the way, that I have to talk about.
Our girl? My girl? My wife?
No, Grandma Ma'am, the fucking angry maintenance lady. I love her so much.
Yes,
She
ma'am.
pilots also the best mech, which is the only hand-drawn mech in the entire show, and it's this little orange maintenance vehicle. It is so cute. I am obsessed with it.
It's a little cart.
Yeah, she uses it as an assistive device.
Yeah, she's always in it.
Because she's missing a leg.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that.
It's that, but also there are other ones that people are using as like forklifts, which is why I say that.
Yeah.
No, it's like a mass-produced one because Maria has one and rides on one with
She's
Mata.
forklift certified.
Yeah, Maria's forklift certified, Mam is forklift certified, and Kaneda, we find out later when he goes shopping, is also forklift certified.
Yeah.
I love the idea of, there's just mechs as assistive materials. Like,
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going into the decision here, but they stand out to me so much
they're
for being
hand-drawn.
hand-drawn.
Yeah.
They're the only ones that are hand-drawn.
They're not in they're not in crazy colors. They're so functional.
It's weird, but also amazing because they look so cool.
Yeah, they
do.
look incredibly cool. And Mam is like the mechanic and the rallier of the town. She has big
dick energy.
I forget the name of the grandma well, she's big dick energy, but she also has big grandma from Full Metal Alchemist, Winry's grandma.
Pinako.
Yeah, Pinako.
She also has that lady, Sky Pirate lady from Castle in the Sky energy. Mm-hmm. She also, Alice, it's funny you say she has big dick energy because she's also the character that utters the line small dick energy at the beginning of the show. So I was like, she did not just say small dick energy in this anime.
Bro, some of the localization on this is just really good. So yeah, I mean, we giant cast of characters, but also like everything is very surface level. Like, I'm not sure if you noticed, every sign is in English. That's not a localization thing. That's
I did not notice
in the
that.
show. All of the text is English. Like,
Yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah.
This show, like, we said there's a lot of nouns. There's so much going into this. It's like they would have benefited so much from focusing on like 3 things at a time.
Yeah.
But you just get all of them and you just have to adapt.
they've made a world and they throw it at you, and I kind of like that. I like when things do that, but there's so much, and there's not much depth. Like,
It's so jumbled.
there's cool things like the food, right? Like the 3D printed food, but then a lady's just eating a fucking carrot and they're like, oh, she's so rich, she can have a carrot. It's like, what is food to these people? Like, what is...
Shout out to Tokyo, though, for securing the bag. And by the bag, I mean the carrots in that one scene.
Smart man. I do want to shout out one piece of worldbuilding I really like is their phones, which is just a ring you wear on your index finger and then you use your thumb to flip through it, and it's a holographic.
Yeah, it looks cool. It looks neat.
Some things of this are really fucking cool.
So to get to the next 3 episodes, I just looked at which ones they are.
But yeah, so can we talk about my girl and her little lily character?
Well, so this is where we get the sorcery shit, which it doesn't really hit for me. It doesn't feel like it fits with the rest of everything else. It's like,
weird.
okay.
It's weird. So
it's weird.
They basically are collecting owl crystals, which exist, and they need them for a reason, and
They're
they sell.
money, right?
They're the equivalent of
They're money, but the enders are drawn to them.
Yeah.
But,
When you mind, it's very video game mechanics.
It's a video game mechanic. Yeah. Jinx, like...
Go and collect owl crystals. The enders will attack in waves.
It's a video game mechanic for sure. This episode 4 with where we get the AO crystal and we meet Claudia is the most video game. She's like, protect me for 3 turns while I mine this crystal. Like,
I do like the flower field and the little memory that Noir has, and I like Flom's character except for certain parts of it. I love her little attitude, and I love that Claudia's like, oh no, I got fucked by my old nest, so now I just kind of am a drifter with Flom because they wanted to do some shit to her.
She actually seems to embody the idea of the word drifter, which is such a weird pick, unless you think of it as representing like the idea of being drift compatible as put forward in like Pacific Rim or something. But like drifter is such a weird thing until you get to Claudia, because she literally is like a stateless person.
So is Ada and Alba.
Yeah.
The people who don't actually have a hometown, like what a true drifter is, which is like most of these people are just in the employ of a city.
Yeah, and I really like Claudia, and I like that, like, one of her key features is that she has Flamme, who is her Magus, and Flamme is one of these Type 0 Maguses, and she's expensive to maintain. And she didn't know a good mechanic before she ran into Kanata, and he hooked her up with Maria, her girlfriend.
Yeah.
But, like, I love that, like, that's such a big thing for her. She's like, it's expensive to maintain my Magus, but I wouldn't have it any other way, so I'm going to rip you off because I need cash
so she's a
now.
scumbag about it, and it really rules because, like, I thought it was super fun because they, like, they spend the whole episode protecting her so that she can get this crystal, and, like, the pretense is, like, we can all split it up.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the fight, she has already driven off with it. It's really good. It's really good.
By the way, can we talk that her carrier, so they all have carriers. A big part of this is they have carriers.
She has the best carrier.
The carrier's whip!
She has the best carrier.
So they all have carriers. They're all unique carriers. Their carrier, Claudia and Flam's carrier, is a motorcycle. A big-ass motorcycle.
A giant motorcycle. Yeah, the carriers are like future mech RVs. Like they have full RV energy on the inside, like with the beds and the table and like the little driver's seat. And then they also hold mechs and fire guns.
Yeah, they're meant for you to go like out and be out in the wild and live in them, you know? And I just really love the different styles of them. They're pretty
Tokyo's
funny.
is your Cyberpunk. It's got graffiti on it. It has this like weird tiger stripe pattern on it. It says Cashman.
Well, that's the name of their business. You see it on the outside of their businesses. It's like Cashman scavenging or something.
It's incredible.
But yeah, then you have Aventure, who is very like just pulling a giant trailer full of mechs because we have a big company.
I like that they have a plow on the front.
Claudius, which is yeah.
We need to talk about our comedy relief villain and his carrier because he has another really good carrier.
Renge or
Range.
Range.
There's Would you call them
Evil Misato are out here?
Would you call them the Team Rocket of this?
Oh
yes.
God, transparently.
Yes, I absolutely would. Transparently, they are that. But also, Evil Misato fucking rules. When she orders a carrot at the buffet and then tries to make the two guys eat it off the ground.
Yeah. And then Tokyo's like, I got this.
They're dressed like they're clubbing in Japan in the 90s. And I just love that about their aesthetic.
So she is both Misato and that one Macross character, right?
Yes.
Like just kind of stapled together and made a little sluttier.
Put into that. I do love, there is one very specific scene where they show her before she got picked up by that guy. And she's just a farm girl.
Farm brat. Yeah.
Farm Magus.
See, that confused me. That's part of my confusion with the Magus.
Yeah, they age, except Flam doesn't.
Yeah, the age. That's why I was so baffled, because I'm like, that episode implies either it was a drastic outfit change or she literally grew up. I'm so baffled by this show. Anyway.
No, I think if you look at her, it's just her cleaned up. I'll get the pictures and we'll put them side by side.
Thank you, because I was so confused.
They look very closely to the same, just cleaned up.
There's a weird Tokyo flashback thing about a story that we don't know yet because it's probably in season 2, where that his butler is in, and his butler also looked younger to me in that one.
Yeah.
So I didn't know.
And the thing is, the Magus, she is eating stuff. Later, Noir eats and drinks. I
don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Magus.
And I don't think the show does either, at least for the first few episodes.
At some point in here, so there was a whole thing where Noir was trying, because Noir's memory is missing, right?
Yeah.
It's literally, hey, have you seen the show Noir?
I love that show.
Like, there's a memory missing. Have you seen Chobits? Like, she's missing her memory, so they're doing investigation, and that's when she meets Ciel, the Love Live character, the idol, the VTuber. And she becomes more important later. I just felt like we hadn't mentioned Ciel.
Ciel is there. Ciel teaches her how to do the shocky thing so that she can turn the batteries back on and also kick ass, apparently.
She's a taser.
I do love the... Yeah, so Ciel's just kind of wandering around. She's a free Magus, which...
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we want to finally have the discussion of our feelings on Magus before we get into, like, the maze?
I think it needs to be around when she actually becomes a free Magus, because that episode ending and the next episode beginning punched me straight in my genitalia.
Yeah.
We have to talk about it with that.
So, want to talk about the maze. The evil organization shows up. They have flying carriers, which is big. They are trying to capture Type 0 Magus, which you'll never guess.
So they're collecting wizards is basically what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they have super cool black coffins that have like tank heads. They look really neat.
They do have tank heads. Yeah, so I honestly love the villain characters in this in the way that I love Xeon. I'm like, fuck, they're cool as shit. I'm kind of on their side.
They just look cool.
They're also not too evil, you know? Like, you're not...
Yeah, it's interesting that we got introduced to our face for this evil organization before we meet the person with earrings, which is how you know they're evil. But like we get introduced to Black Mask way ahead of the actual unscrupulous activity that he's part of. And so it's like you don't want to believe that he's affiliated with this until more of the show goes on. But like the kidnapping of the Magus, I will say that is a pretty hardcore scene. Like that scene was a little bit, it's meant to evoke like literally being stolen out of a carrier. Like they crack open the coffin and steal.
Ripping the coffin open to grab the Magus.
And they put a collar on her, yeah.
Yeah, to turn her off.
It's really weird and
badly
bad.
deployed kink.
Yeah.
There is so much about master slave and collars and all of this, and it is,
It's
Fun thing about the collars, do you notice that Schnee has one of the same collars?
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Plot. So yeah, they are in a maze.
Because another thing about Schnee is that every time she talks to the protagonists, she's also like hinting at all of the masked guy's weaknesses.
Yeah.
She is.
She's always like, and also when you attack him, this is what you should do. Like,
Well, she specifically says you should attack his rear,
yeah.
which felt weirdly homophobic.
Homoerotic is how I read it. Thank you very
No,
Homoerotic.
much.
it's so emphasized, and I'm just like,
But she also like talks about some of his personality foibles later on when they meet again, and it's like it's interesting. She seems like she's in a weird position that I want to know more about.
yeah.
They go to the gambling nest. There's two things we need to talk about, which is one, Tokyo can't win, but his butler can, which is a major trope in this. But also, Seal.
Ciel is here.
Seal,
So Seal is a free Magus.
quote unquote,
Quote
free
unquote,
Magus.
who signed a contract with our Team Rocket because Magus, like me, can't read.
By accident.
She thought it was a
Yeah.
travel agreement.
Yeah.
Fucking
She's
idiot.
too
And
Gatorade.
signed away her right to exist as a free person
And then he's going to gamble away that right of ownership. Battle Royale.
because he can make a lot of money off entry fees.
She can make a lot of
because-
money because she's a lounge singer and people like her.
and people want to fuck her. Like,
people wanna fuck
transparently,
her.
that's what this is about.
What?
Yeah.
No, I was so baffled. So Alice better explained the growing up thing that seemed to happen with Range's Magus. But okay, this is what we know about them. Mouton is a butler stereotype. Maria's rocket assistants are maid stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
They help out. So Magus apparently have a use outside combat and coffins, which is their primary use, but it's niche.
Yeah.
They can drink and eat. They apparently don't need sleep, but Noir sleeps all the time, which we get more information on later.
Yeah.
There's a ton of implied sexuality, but apparently the actual idea of fucking a Magus seems to be taboo. Like, it's only done in Desire Nest. Like, there's so much weird stuff where they tease about it, and then when someone implies that Kanata might have actually slept with Noir, like, people seem repulsed.
I briefly had the thought of like, are Magus just women? Like early
they
on in the
feel
show,
like
I was
just
like,
women.
are they just women?
But yeah, they're not human, and they aren't treated as human by some people, though they seem to be treated like the Twin Tails girl. Her relationship with her Magus Angie is like very sisterly.
Big sister.
Yeah.
Angie is such class prez. Like, I don't really get that relationship.
And so it doesn't seem like Twin Tails is holding herself above Angie, but like CL has this whole angst about like, you know, I'm not really human, and so I'm not as you can really feel that they're borrowing ideas from other better media that kind of want to reckon with the idea of humanity, and then they just
Yeah.
I want to say that I was convinced this was going to be a racing thing because they showed the racetrack around the casino a bunch of times. And I was like, oh my God, that's so sick. Put a spoiler on fucking Daisy Ogre, please. I want to fucking have a racing episode.
I would have loved that.
let's full battle Angel Alita.
And then they cut to the racetrack again. And then they cut away from the racetrack to the battle arena. And I was like, man, that's rude.
Can we talk about how disappointingly mid this fight is. So there's a battle royale with all of the people who want it, including Kanata gets himself in, and it's so...
Because he wants to protect CL's dream. So CL told him her beautiful dream, which is she wants to find a good man and get married. I mean, she wants to find a pilot that she can really bond with, a master that she can really care for.
A master. She uses that word multiple times. She's looking for a master, the master for her.
Listen, the sub is out here. She's on Bumble.
She's like, I don't want to be a unicorn. I'm just looking for a good master.
This is the most the show is going to engage with the concept of Magus free will. Yeah. And it's so ugly to me that it's like wrapped up in this whole thing of CL being like infatuated with Kanata and Kanata like suddenly having this like weird shonen protagonist bend of like, oh, this person has a dream and I must protect it. It's like he's never acted like that before, really.
Ever.
And it's just weird. And it's like, and then it leads into the next episode, which is this is when I was actively angry with Alice for making me watch this. Okay. The next episode.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the problematic episode, and I think this compilation image kind of encapsulates how we should all feel about it.
Her ass is a secondary character.
This was another episode I was like skipping scenes through.
So this whole episode, Noir has to go get mechanicked, right? And
Noir has to exit the show.
And Seal comes in to be a literal live-in housewife for Kanata. Coming on to him the whole time, just really thirsty for it.
Before this, at the casino place, Kanata wins, and because yes, Noir can do the sorcery also, but seems to be bad at it.
Yeah, this is the first time we see the magical ethnicity.
Ethnicity. Which, and it's later. Like very heavily obscured. I didn't notice that she had actually changed skin tone.
They hide it really well.
But yeah, she does a big lightning bolt.
Takes out the powers, wins.
And then he gets her, so he gets CL's deed, and then he crosses it out. And she's like, thank you, I'm free. And I was like, this kind of rips. And they were like, okay, well, where were you going now? And then it just kind of freeze frames on her face and cuts to the credits. I was led to believe that she was free and that she was going to go do her own thing and maybe pop back up later. No, she is immediately voluntarily subservient to Kanata for an entire episode. It's really, really bad.
Travels back to Rocktown, moves in, puts on a wife apron, and starts cooking for him using real ingredients.
Yeah, it's dire.
It's really dire, y'all.
She's vacuuming the hangar.
Yeah.
She takes off her overcoat, so it's just her in her skin-tight Magus bodysuit and an apron.
Yeah, and her ass is a secondary character in this. It's pretty miserable. You know, it's like the show has so many interesting elements, and it's such a hot mess. And then the thing that seems to unite it is weeb ass shit. Like they're like, we need more ass, we need TNA, and it's so miserable.
And unfortunately, like, and this is what I was talking about before we started recording too, is like it seems like every time I like really want to like the show and it like is doing something super cool, it has to hold hands with like some of the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. Because at the end of this episode, CL like pilots Daisy Ogre with him, and it is actually like one of the coolest fights in the entire run of the show. Like,
yeah. So he takes Seal out to an old amphitheater and is like, you like to sing, like you need, because the whole time, I know it's really problematic, but he's literally telling her, you need to figure out what you want to do. I'm trying to figure out myself. I can't be the person you need me to be, but in like bad anime ways. And he's like, I'm going to take you here because you like to sing and amphitheaters are good for singing. And it's cute.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. And then
this is the episode where where we find out she's a double agent, right? Yes. She is a scout who's monitoring Kanata and Noir for Black Mask.
She is about to literally shock him and take him out after orders.
She is seconds away from wasting his ass so many times in this show from this episode forward.
Pull the trigger, Piglet. Like, pull the trigger, Piglet. But so she has this moment. She's doing all the housewife shit and she's singing while she works because she enjoys it so much. But then she gets a call and they're like, yeah, you're going to need to take this motherfucker out. And then she stops singing while she does all her chores. And that's when he takes her to the amphitheater because he's like, well, you stopped singing, so I wanted to cheer you up. And she's like, oh my God.
Women will fall in love with men who do one thing, who notice one thing about them.
The bar is on the ground.
The bar is on the ground. Can I say something about CL though?
Yes.
That is to me her best quality. Her fucking yellow Marshall outfit is so sick.
Yes, with the beret.
It's really good.
It's the best outfit.
I specifically noticed it has a really high collar, so you can't necessarily see that she's a magus at just like
Well,
just
at the
at a
beginning,
glance.
you don't see it. Like, it's intentionally obfuscated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, they're at the amphitheater and they get jumped by Enders and they have a wicked fucking fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While CL is singing, which was like big
was
Raphael BG3 vibes to me.
Yeah, so her ability is she comes out, she has an AoE attack, which again, like video game mechanics, you can swap out your magus. I do like that. I like that you can pilot with a different magus and
I like that you can pilot with a different magus. I don't like that it has its hand in hand with the fucking harem bullshit.
Yeah. That's what got
so-
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the show is weird about the harem-y nature of his relationship with the three main women that are around him.
Add also Claudia, she's not really part of his harem, but like she's
the add-on. She's the,
Yeah.
She is definitely like playing up the I could be in your harem if you want to manipulate him energy, which is like equally
problematic,
eye-rolly to me.
Yeah. So that whole episode, and then she is like, she leaves after that. Noir comes back. We just get an episode of Seal being a wife. That's pretty much it, right?
Which
That's
leads
the
us
whole
into our
episode.
crucial, powerful, important episode.
The episode that made me
Episode
mad.
8.
The swimsuit episode.
The swimsuit episode. It's fucking miserable.
Nothing happens.
It's cringe.
Nothing happens in this.
Nothing happens. Like they talk about boys.
Oh no, there's a Love Live crossover song. And Seal performs it at this pool facility.
And Seal performs it.
Also, there's a nest that's just a resort.
Yeah.
A swimming resort. That's
humanity's
the whole nest.
priorities. And okay, I kept waiting for it to come up. So a crucial part of this fucking show is that there is some shit in the water that is turning the frogs gay. Okay?
Yeah.
It's called blue shit.
They're turning the frogs gay!
It's called blue shit? No, it's called blue schist.
Blue schist.
There's a blue schist
Chris.
density.
It's called crars.
It's called crars.
When it rains, there's a higher chance of it triggering the enders.
Yeah, so it's in the water. So that's why the rain is dangerous. And then there's an area where it's like it doesn't rain much, but there's a swamp. So like the swamp is dangerous. So there's a concentration of this in the water. This could almost be interesting, except they go to a water park. And it is never discussed.
So
it's the future. It's fine. It's future water.
The idea is, here's my read on it without getting too much into the story. It's nanobots. Anyway,
nanomachines.
Nanomachinery. So the water they have is good. Water from underground doesn't have nanomachines.
Yeah.
It's incoherent like everything else.
Garbage episode. Weird.
It's a garbage
weird
episode.
whole thing. I hate it.
I have 3 notes in this episode, and they're all just like about how I hate my life.
And this is
one of my notes is I was about to say I wish Noir was weirder because I really liked her batshit swimming in this episode.
she
jumps in the water, sinks directly to the bottom, and then moves around without moving her limbs like a submarine.
Flips her little feet.
She's so funny.
She's insane. It's so funny.
We need more of Noir being a freak.
But I was like, I wish she was weirder, and then I remembered that her special power is becoming ethnic. So I was like, okay, don't be weirder.
Well, we don't know that about her yet. And also, there was also, at the very beginning, she was like obsessed with a washing machine. That was also pretty funny. I wish there was more of that.
Also, this is the episode that they give us the backstory between Ellie and Kanata's relationship.
And it boils down to they were childhood friends.
Tifa.
He told her...
She's Tifa.
Yeah. He told her the dream he's been telling everyone in this fucking show that he wants to go to the city of Histoire. And she laughed at him. And that has been haunting her ever since.
Because she should have supported him. And he's like, oh, I didn't even remember because I'm a man. And I don't remember when women judge me. I just want to say this episode just proves to me that I hate him as the main character. Because, like, he's like, oh, I can't swim. And there could have been like a cute arc with Ellie actually teaching him, but it of course becomes another misunderstanding because at no point can he have a normal conversation with Ellie and like clear up anything.
And it has to be more harem shit because of course CL shows up and now she's like, I'm gonna teach you. And
it's so garbage. It's so bad.
Yeah, there has to be miscommunication. Ellie has to fucking scream and run off screen, and like Angie has to follow her. Angie deserves better. Angie is such big sis, cool outfit vibes. I
think Angie is just doing it to troll at some point. I think she's just like, these two fucking idiots. I hate this. I'm just gonna fuck around.
Angie is gonna become Skynet because she hates these people so much.
God, I would hate to be the Magnus for somebody who can't even just talk about their feelings with a fellow adult who pilots a giant robot fighting aliens. But we're a mech podcast, so it's gonna keep coming up.
But then episode 9 brings us back with some cool shit again.
Yeah, the episode 9's kind of a banger.
Episode 9 is a banger. So they go do a mission and go to this cool, like, old parts nest.
They go to the mall.
They go to the mall and they see the $900,000 bananas.
Yes.
Oh my God. So like...
Oh, you know them bitches are getting spotty immediately after this.
Yeah. You take the glass off and they immediately turn brown.
Yeah, well, at least you can still use them for $450,000 banana bread.
So basically we learn, because humans have to live in nests or underground, they can't really make a lot of the things they used to, so there's like a rich-ass bitch store where you can go and get, from locked cases, soy sauce.
Soy sauce.
And
made by Michael.
So they run into Alba and Ada, who are... shonen protagonists of
a different game.
And there's this we get a bit of backstory, but in a weird way of like, he's obsessed with the old empire that fell 20 years ago that was getting close to knowing
He's mysterious and bitchy, and...
There's a parallel between him and Kanata. He's like a cooler, more jaded version of Kanata. They share an interest in old tech, but he's specifically focused on like... Magus and Magus memory and recovery. Like those things. Yeah.
And we learned that.
And he drinks soy sauce like straight from the bottle.
Yeah, he loves that shit.
King.
So Ada is like Noir but good. She's more put together.
Her eyes are sparklier.
She also doesn't have memories, which is why he's obsessed with memories in his own way. But she's more of a like, we should probably help this guy. You can't just do these things alone, Alba. And Alba's like, I have to look longingly into the distance in my cloak.
And then I have to romantically and slowly hand crank coffee beans because we cannot not have a golden hour pour over.
He's obsessed with old world stuff, but in a different way. Yeah. So they have their whole story. Then he goes out and he shows what a Type 0 Magus and a good pilot can do, and they just fuck up a bunch of enders.
Against the coolest enemy in the show, which is the parasitism enders.
Zombie Mechs.
Zombie Mechs.
Angel, Ava Unit 4 bullshit.
This is some motion from Friends at the Table shit. Like,
motion.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Super cool fight. I like the story we get, but we basically find out something very important about Noir, which is she's been in safe mode this whole time. So
she's in recovery mode.
She had a power surge way back, and this whole time, and the reason she's so dumb and why she sleeps, which Magus don't have to sleep, but she's sleeping all the time, is she's in safe mode and her processor has throttle.
Constantly at 100%.
She's constantly overheating. Her brain can't process because she's built different than the other Magus. She's like a prototype.
She is built different.
We also learned that other main character guy, Alba, can be in the rain for some reason.
Yeah, for whatever reason. His moniker is he's watertight, which is weirdly cool. I was like, actually, I kind of like this guy.
People don't go in the rain. They have the coolest raincoats that you just like click something and it pops up.
They're really cool. Yeah.
They always get ripped off. Nobody ever takes them off normally. They're always just ripping them.
I think I've seen other people take them off normally, but Tokyo is the one we see rip it off, and I feel like it's just because Tokyo's a fucking idiot.
Tokyo cannot do anything normally. He's too bisexual. Like, he can't.
Yeah.
So, we get some cool world building. We meet the video game protagonists that we'll play a video game about when we do that one.
And then we head into the final arc.
Our last arc, which is the Silver Storm.
Which is the 9/11 arc.
This is the the 9/11 arc.
So this whole time in Rocknest, there's this old guy and this kid who do the weather forecasts, and he's always like, "When's the storm coming?" Great guy, love him. No,
I thought he was
him.
like so cool and charming, and then at the end it turns out he's like extremely sad. Actually, his whole shit is so tragic. Like,
Yeah, he has like dementia.
Yeah. So we start with
Anyway.
we go to another nest in which it's people just developing weapons for
Yeah, apparently they're
drifters.
engineers who got kicked out of everywhere else. This is the R&D department from hell. This is the Mythbusters shop.
They're literally just doing crazy shit, and we get this cool scene where these two old guys are like jerry rigging weapons, and he's like, "What are you building?" He's like, "It's a shuriken thrower. Kids love ninjas." So I think Kanata would really love this for Daisy Ogre.
And I love they are specifically making stuff for Kanata. We're told later, but like they know him and they're really excited that he finally became a drifter.
it's really sweet.
And so they're making him cool stuff to put on his robot.
They are his gay dads, and
Yeah. And of course they get French.
And then the Twin Towers attack. They strike first.
Then 9/11
Yeah.
strikes back.
9/11 strikes back. The World Trade Center is out for blood.
A tornado comes, destroys the nest. We don't see it happen, but it's
Yeah.
basically it cuts.
The storm.
And then we get Rocktown, a call to arms from Grandma, and they're like, "By the way, this nest got destroyed."
When ma'am calls, you fucking answer. This
Ma'am?
was such a
Ooh.
sick moment.
So good.
She literally calls up everybody and she says, "Everybody get here, no fucking excuses." Everybody fucking gets there.
And it's so funny because it's like Tokyo has been getting wasted because that's his other main personality trait is he loves to get wasted. And he's like, shit, gotta go. And thankfully we know he's going to be driving safe because they have patches they can slap on your eyes that make you sober.
They have sobriety patches. Such a cool detail.
Holy
It's
shit.
so funny.
The nanomachine
It's so
patch
funny.
that pulls the liquor out of your bloodstream. Things
I
I
also-
need.
When we're rallying everybody for the attack, we
Yeah.
get the most bangerous Bob line of all time, which is when he says that Michael is so good at acting on instinct that his brain is basically dead weight. It's so funny. And he says he's always saying this shit like so triumphantly. It sounds like a compliment.
I'm going to say it right now.
but it's not.
Through the power of miracles and or impreg, Michael is the child of Gallo Timos and Leo Fotia. He has Leo's looks and Gallo's brains,
Damn, that's
which is none.
which is none.
Head empty, only
None brains with the left putting
only
boy.
think of firefighting. I mean fighting enders. I mean
Growing vegetable.
So we get what Silverstorm, the big 9/11 thing, actually does, which is it's like a tornado and also the Twin Towers, and also it has parasites, so it can
So it takes the two towers from the R&D. It causes parasitism, but it gives them a unified hive mind.
Yeah.
Is what makes
Yeah.
it powerful.
It's like the Dark Souls hard mode boss that has all the different weird little tags that make
Yes.
it do different stuff, and so it's like hive and parasitism and also 9/11.
So something I want to call out at this point, which I don't think the show addresses, and I think we should probably talk about it. So before this, anytime people are knocked out or like damaged or anything, we don't show the death. Like nobody has ever, like we had the dead robots in a field and they got picked up, but you never see people get really injured or beaten up.
Until now.
We show Ma'am shows a map in which like 12 nests have been completely wiped off the map.
Yeah.
So many dead
It's wild.
people. Like
Yeah.
they don't acknowledge this, but the people, like the two old guys making those weapons, they're
dead.
They're dead. They're gone.
Yeah.
Everyone's dead.
Yeah, because Ma'am sends the people on recon to try to find out what happened. And yeah, this is when the show gets hardcore because, like, you find out they're dead because Kanada's looking for life signs and Noir's just like, there are no life signs. Like, everyone is dead here.
And importantly, he does find an intact upgrade that they made him for his
Yes, his new sensor.
for Daisy Ogre.
He finds both, I think. Yeah, because he also has the blades later. Yeah.
He does. He gets the shuriken too.
But this is a peak Tokyo is gay moment because this is also the first time we see a pilot like bleed, and it's because they basically get ambushed while doing recon on the Silver Storm by a parasitized mech,
Three of them. A couple of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they get cornered and they launch a shitload of spears of this like parasite material into Tokyo's mech.
That fucking scene.
And he is like impaled. I was like, is he gonna die?
He's impaled like 9 times.
He gets injured in the VR cockpit, and then they show him in the real cockpit where he's actually been stabbed by those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really alarming shot. I was really worried for the butler.
Yeah.
Mouton, please get out of there, King.
I was really worried for the butler.
Yeah, I love this scene too, just because this whole arc of this is where we establish that
fight.
Tokyo has been very coddling Kanata, and Kanata is like, no, I need to be my own person. He's like, you're not ready if you're this emotional, and you're acting on impulse, looking for these people. And we learn that
Dad has to learn to let go.
Instead of seeing him as a brother, he has to be like, you're a partner to me. You know,
when they kept saying, "I want you to regard me as a partner," I'm like, Tokyo just turns people gay around him.
Tokyo just has a gayification aura.
That's his AoE.
We get some flashbacks to their backstory and how they're alone out there.
Which is all,
and,
it's all, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they're former bunker kids. So then, we can just kind of put this all together. The last 2 episodes are this giant fight in which the bunker assholes, you know, Black Mask and all of them are just like, fucking let them die. Let's see what happens. You know, we're not going to get involved in this, even though we have massive military might. We learned that they have an air carrier that's just, they're based out of the sky as well. Which
they
is
have the
just
motherfucking helicarrier from the
fucking
Avengers.
amazing.
They have the Hind D.
Yeah.
We get Schnee and Black Mask basically talking about him, being like, maybe we got to see if he can prove if he can use Noir. You know, maybe we should let it happen.
The Black Mask. Oh, first of all, we meet the most sinister man in this because he wears earrings, who is the real head of the faction that Black Mask works for.
Yeah.
And Black Mask is kind of in this weird position where he kind of wants to go rogue because the order that's been passed down is that Kaneda needs to die and they need to recover Noir.
Let's talk about this.
And so this is when CL almost fucking drops his ass. And
for the second time.
Yeah, for the second time.
She gets the orders, hey, fucking kill him and take Noir.
Yeah. And Black Mask is on the fence because, of course, they bonded in the brothel and then in the battle royale. He was also there for that. And Schnee is like, I have a hunch that he's important. We shouldn't kill him. And, like, a big moment of this is that Black Mask is respectful of, like, her hunch. Yeah. Which is, it's this weird humanizing moment for him where it's like, maybe he's not like the other baddies.
Maybe he's one of the good ones.
He's one of the good ones. But yeah, Seal finally gets her order rescinded. She doesn't go against her orders. She just pauses long enough.
Rescinded.
Are y'all ready for my rewrite pitch from this point forward, the show being completely different?
Let's get Script Doctor.
Yeah, let's go.
Are you ready? So this is what I think should have happened.
Okay.
And I would still be watching this show. I mean, I'm still going to watch the rest of it at some point, I'm sure. But I would be avidly interested in the show.
Oh, what are we going to do in season 2? Don't worry, guys. It gets great.
CL kills him here. And then is so guilty that she leaves the organization and pilots the Daisy Ogre with Noir herself.
I'm in.
Oh God,
Done.
That would whip.
Done.
Oh,
I would love
unfortunately,
a Magus
that would require this show to treat Magus, aka women, like people.
Yeah.
Hey. I was gonna say Bob's not a woman, but I'm like, hey, I see it.
Listen, every man in the show who is a Magus could have been a woman, and the only reason they did it was because Mouton and Bob were the diversity hires.
The diversity hires. So the Twin Towers attack Rocktown. All of the other nests that we've seen in the other episodes send mechs to help fight.
This is cool because you see like the color schemes of like the Baccarat nest, and you see the full Aventure crew, and you see our pro tag mechs who have their custom paint jobs.
Shout out to the Aventure crew people who never get named and are just there.
Yeah. You don't ever see their Maguses. Actually, their cockpits, for the most part, when you see them, are not in VR mode.
Yeah.
And that made me go, it's like, okay, clearly you have to have a Magus to pilot, but it made me think, it's like, do they just not have one?
Well, you actually don't need a Magus to pilot. It just
that's what I was wondering.
So it's basically like installing an AI that auto-corrects for you. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It's like I stabilize for you and I do the aiming and stuff to make it look more fluid, which I think is a cool like.
It's neat. They're an interface.
I think it's like without a Magus they move like a mobile suit, and with a Magus they move like a Gundam. You know what I mean? Like they can like articulate their fingers and stuff.
And with the Magus Zero, they can cast an AoE fire spell.
Yeah, they can cast Thundara.
Yes. Speaking of casting Faraga, we get fucking Flame
They cast their once daily.
wiping an entire fucking squadron of aliens off the map with one blow. It was so cool.
Literally a kilometer-long flame channel between this battle to get to the towers. It is so cool.
So she mentions beforehand that she doesn't use this because it's expensive. Did y'all catch the shot of the mech afterwards after she does this?
No.
Her mech's rifle is blown up so much that the metal twisted back on itself and it looks like a fucked up flower. It's so funny.
That's incredibly cool.
It's really good.
I love that Michael immediately is like, I'll pay for it. And they're like, nice. All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Michael, look.
His superpower is money.
My little guy. He's just helping.
He's got the soy sauce bag.
He's got that soy sauce bag. So they go up the two towers. It's Michael and the Aventure crew going up one, and
this
Kanata
is when
and
we
Tokyo
get
going up
every
the
line.
other.
This is when we get every line where Michael says, verbatim, we're going to attack the Twin Towers. We have to hit the Twin Towers at the same time. And I cannot emphasize enough, I watched this in Japanese with the subtitles. Twin Towers is capitalized, like a proper noun in the subtitle.
So our brave fighters of the Mujahideen attack the capitalist AI towers. They basically have to hit the weak point.
They've got two big glowing weak points.
It's a real big we're fighting but we're struggling and we're helping each other. And how do they end up? So after they both kill the weak points by learning to trust the people that are next to them, so Kanata and Tokyo finally, trust each other as partners.
They become
By
real
the way,
partners.
Tokyo's back. He got put in a sick, they put a medical patch on him that gave him healing force field.
They put him in the back to tank, but it's on his body.
His little healing thing, it's so good. The technology is so good.
But he just comes back, and then he uses his fucking pile driver fist thing. Oh, it's so good.
It's incredibly good. Another small detail about this that I liked, because of course I was paying really hard attention to the Maguses. At one point, Mouton says we can't use specific targeting or different skills that he would normally use, because Mouton is using a lot of his basically processing ability to support Tokyo's injury. Yeah. And I was like, that's so interesting. He's literally doing an assistive device thing in this mech
medical
piloting.
care to make sure he can still move the mech and not hurt himself more.
I was like, fuck, that's so interesting. Why is it in this show?
They do some things like that where it's just there could have been so much with this. So after you defeat the Twin Towers, you have to attack Tower 7, which appears between them. And Building 7 is taken down by... So they're struggling to get the last one. It spawns the last wave final boss stuff, and they can't get by it.
It has a protective shell. When you try to attack it directly, it closes.
Can we... Real quick, when this thing pops up, when this extra core pops up, and everyone gets their react shot, the show cuts to the end of the episode by superimposing everyone's distinct reaction shot over a background of the battlefield.
Yeah, it looks like a visual novel.
It's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen any TV show do. I don't know what the fucking idea was here.
It's literally a promo image.
Everyone's clean PNGs get loaded.
They slow clean PNG over, and Seal is 25% of it, which is the weirdest part for me.
I'm like, are she here?
I'm like, I get you're pushing her as the face of this, but what the fuck?
At some point in here, it may be in the last episode when they're trying to unleash the true power of Noir, which is melanin. They do the cut back to the 3 rules of Magus when Maria was doing maintenance on Noir.
Yes, this is right before she unlocks her final ability, her processing power.
Cooling breath. Okay.
So what does she tell her in her little checkup? What is she telling her little girl? What does she need to do to be a good partner to Kanata?
I don't remember. I may have blacked it out. I had the 3 rule.
Cook and clean? What?
She needs to grow with him. It's the most important one. You got to grow with your pilot.
Oh, you got to grow with your pilot. Okay. Gotcha.
It's the most important part. If you're not growing yourself, then how are you going to help him?
You think Maria is growing with those 5 mates?
Yeah, they were up to 4. 4 by the end of the first season. Trust me, I'm catching. For those at home, there's not yet porn of this, but I can't wait. But yeah, so...
Okay, Alice, I'll write it for you.
She goes into... she reboots into Black Noir. or Mystere, who is the other version of Noir who's not in safe mode. She gets black. Her white hair turns black, her white dress turns black, and her skin, which was white, turns a very darker shade than white.
She literally becomes an angry, standoffish black woman.
I need it. Just look for a gif of this.
It's one of the most foul.
It is unreal.
What if the Avatar state was racist? What if what are we doing?
So she turns black. She's very mean to Kanata, tells me he's a piece of shit, he's bad. Why did I have to stop sleeping and come out because that bitch couldn't handle it? And then she casts Lightning Bolt and wins.
Yeah, she casts like 9th level chain lightning and is like, I'm out.
Kills
but then
it,
she can't leave.
Wins the day. Everybody's like, whoa. And after that, we immediately cut into the epilogue of season 1. We basically learn a couple of facts that'll set up season 2. Mystere hangs around, and Noir is now gone, and we can't find her. So season 2 has a lot of Mystere.
We gotta rescue the white woman.
But how do you all feel about this final battle and this little epilogue? How did you all feel?
I couldn't even. I was so angry. I couldn't even care about the plot of the thing anymore.
The most important thing at the end of this episode is that we see Black Mask in sunglasses.
Yeah, he's undercover in sunglasses meeting Seal with clandestine spy shit.
It's so stupid. They just sit at different tables at a cafe. Anyway, the note that I have from the final fight is, if we accept this premise, which Brian alluded to in his intro, if we accept this premise, does that mean every white person is just safe mode for a more developed, informed, and assertive person of color? Much to think about.
Much to think about.
Damn.
Look, it's one thing to have something where you want to play with race, and I do think there's a world in which this, I don't want to say this could work because it's just so brazenly weird and dumb of an idea on its face. But the fact that it's at the bottom of the demure white woman's despair is this angry person that's difficult to get along with and is more assertive, and it's just I know that this show's writers by committee type thing isn't necessarily beholden to American racial politics, but we could have found another way. There's another way.
Yeah, and there are racial dynamics in Japan. Not to bring up Shinichiro Watanabe again, but he touches on that in Samurai Champloo.
He does. With
he talks about the people from the Ryukyus. And there's a lot of discussion of the Ainu indigenous people to Japan. So it's not like Japan.
And one of the characters in that is a darker skinned Hokkaido person, and his.
Yeah. It's not like there aren't racial dynamics in Japan that would give you a clue about how having someone of a different appearance or a darker skin tone might be a problem if you characterize them a certain way. So I don't want to be they didn't get it. There was plenty of reason not to do this. Yeah. And they did it, and it seems for purely aesthetic reasons and in a way that sets up that the goal of the shonen guy is to retrieve a white woman from inside the angry black woman.
So I think it's my take on it is it's racism by omission. So I think the fact that I don't think it was a conscious choice to have Bob be a black character.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's a character design type that they were we need him to have somebody stoic, bald black guy with sunglasses.
They lifted him with the graffiti.
They have those. He's from 50 other anime.
Michael needed to have a tall, older feeling male parental type Magus because Tokyo had one and they're supposed to mirror each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Noir becoming Mystere it's a very bad take on a trope that happens, but I the yin and yang kind of switch character.
It's literally, we brought up Chobits. It's literally Chi and Freya from Chobits. All of the art.
There's so many things that it crimps on.
Yeah.
There's so many different versions.
Yeah, but there's all of the art of Chi and Freya. Freya's always in a black dress.
Yeah.
And if they had only changed the hair color and changed the dress, we would be having a different conversation.
Yes, because so many characters in anime do that, where they'll have the hair color change or the outfit change to show that they've gone through something.
It happened in Escaflowne!
Yeah, but the fact that it's the skin, too, both tells us something about Magus that is deeply unsettling about how they can change their form, and also is just so like, I don't know if tone deaf is the right word, but Japan has a culture of not considering these things, and not from a lack of knowing. Like, we are in a global society.
There's a really good documentary people should check out called Hafu, which is about the experience of people who are mixed race in Japan. That's a good place to go for more information on this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it sours this in such a way that what is in my opinion, mid mecha anime into something that I can't feel good about liking certain parts of it because of these glaring errors. Like, there are parts I would love to scream. Like, I love Seal. I love Tradwife Seal. I think it's problematic in some ways, but I think, like, you can interpret it in a good way, but they take away that you can't give this the benefit of the doubt. It takes away the ability to give it the benefit of the doubt because it just keeps doing things that are bad.
And I think it unintentionally, what it does is, like, one of its biggest foibles to me is that because of the way that it's so clearly designed by committee and it's so clearly insert trope A into plot point B, what you end up doing is, like, inadvertently kind of saying, like, the stuff we like about this genre can't exist without all the shit that we hate about this genre. And it's like, really, it's frustrating to watch because we know that's not true. I mean, most of the stuff that we've covered on this show so far has been kind of, at the very least, if it has that stuff, it's not as, like, I want to say thoughtless as this can be sometimes.
Thoughtless is a good word for what this feels like.
Yeah.
Head empty, no thoughts, only Daisy Ogre.
Yeah, they're just deploying aesthetics, they're deploying ideas without considering how they are going to interact and the repercussions.
The toy.
Yeah.
They're selling the media.
Which,
it is.
I'm going to buy a toy, but...
I know, I hate it. I'm going to buy a toy. Can I pirate one of these? God. You wouldn't download a coffin?
I'm not saying you could probably strong arm a Gunpla store, but those people aren't built to fight off robbers. That's all I'm saying.
Anyway, we have a thing we have to do.
What
do
we need to do? I'm just heading to the Baccarat nest to go gamble for a bit.
Wait, before you go.
In the Totally Real Roulette. Yeah, what's up? Me and my Magus are about to jump into our carrier. It's shaped like a giant beach cruiser bicycle, and we do have to pedal it with our coffin. But before I head, what do I need to do? What do we need?
I'm sorry, that's such a magical image. Alice, can we rate these goddamn mechs?
Let's rate these goddamn mechs. Okay, I'll go first just to set the tone. So, I pulled up the list, and I encourage everybody to kind of just look through the main ones. I usually don't like chicken leg mechs. I don't like mechs that look like they are weirdly proportioned. And one of my biggest things when I first saw these is, why the fuck do they all have giant, ugly-ass backpacks and look like the Ocean Gate submarine with, like, arms and legs thrown on it? Like, it could be crushed under any strong breeze. But they're all so unique, even the mainstay ones. The whole idea of a drifter, and we've talked about the relationship between a pilot and a mech. Like, I love the Gilbow. I love Schnee, and I love Black Mask, and I love the Gilbow, and I love every little piece of that kit seems very determined. I love Daisy Ogre.
I love Daisy Ogre Alter. You gotta say that, his upgrade.
I love the upgrade. Even Ellie's Nothing Burger mech, which is just a regular one kind of kitted out to her. I love that. The idea of people, putting stickers on things and coloring them and making them very unique to them and their, I don't want to say play style, but their play style. Like, in season 2, we introduce, and it's on here too, the Horned Owl or the Horned Dowel. But the way that they can just make these so unique, and then even the carriers that are involved with the mechs, the people who work on the mechs, everything that goes into these mechs fighting is cool. And then I love the idea of the fast-paced drifting combat. The different weapons. They have, like, the little rocket pod that they pick up every now and then when they need, like, a big attack. I love the interface of the Magus and the pilot. I love the, like, floating in the cockpit with you and I'm gonna cast a spell. Fuck everyone, fuck everything. I love Flom and Claudia. I think they have the best dynamic. I love their mech the most. Everything about them is, like, when I think of what a cool sellsword mech pilot is, I think it's great. So honestly, this is coming in really high for me because I love them. I love the aesthetic. I love everything goes in them. These are a 9 for me. This is close to being perfect for me, honestly. But what about you, Brian?
We're on some Bionicle shit.
Get that Bionicle shit. Let's go.
I'll admit I had, like, a low-key when I first saw this, I was like, oh god. Like the first fight, the CG is a little.
It's rough. Is a nice way to put it.
The first fight was really rough. I was like, I can't believe Alice is doing this to me a third time. But then as I like kept going, like the mechs became kind of the highlight of my whole experience of this, which is kind of in a way like exactly what we want in some ways. Because they're so colorful, they're so unique, and they're so like weird and like I'm with Alice. I don't normally like weird squat little blocky guys, and I especially don't like tiny ones either. Like these are really small for mechs. I just think they're so colorful and neat looking, and I love John Gassmaker. It looks so good. It's so inspired.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one and Glenn Shinobi are definitely like my favorite too. And Glenn Shinobi especially because its whole head is just like a panel.
Mm-hmm.
What a neat idea. It looks so weird and like unique. This is definitely an 8 for me. These colorful little guys. I think we found something that hits on all of us probably, which is that when they're weird and colorful, like in Promare.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love weird little guys. I do think that's a good call out on the size. Like these things are barely over a story tall. Like they are giant.
But I also like that because like the carriers are really cool and they're just big enough that they need to be transported on a big car. Like I think that's fun. So
yeah, that is fun.
Speaking of thoughts on these things, what about you, Nico?
I'm with Brian. This show is dog shit. Unfortunately, the mechs whip ass.
Hey now.
You both are like, I don't really like the chicken-legged, awkwardly proportioned. The moment I saw these motherfuckers, I went, oh, mechs for me. For me? For me. Like,
Para me.
Yeah, like, oh my god. The moment I saw them, I love the big chunky metal. I love the reverse bend legs. You know this about me. I love the fact that they have arms that aren't like dedicated. They have shoulder mounted weapons. There's big armored core, like in terms of the variability of the build and the loadout.
They're really modular.
The moduality.
Yeah, they're modular, right? And then, John Gassmaker, I love the colors. I love the styling. You know, I didn't realize that was a gas mask. I just thought he looked cool. And then, I was looking at the specs page you linked, and I'm like, oh my god, that's a gas mask. I love Daisy Ogre. I love, again, like, Glenn Shinobi looks amazing. Like, for me, the White Rabbit one was, like, my least favorite, and even it was still cool. Like, every one of these that we see whips ass. And, like, the frustrating thing to me is, like, this show could have been a 10 out of 10 for me. But they botched the element that I probably would find the most compelling, which is the Magus.
Yeah.
I love multi-pilot setups. I mean, you know I'm a robot fucker, and not just when they've slapped tits on them. If you are afraid to fuck a Dell PC, you are a moral coward.
That's the official stance of OSG.
No, I love robots. Fundamentally, I love stories about AI. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I'm so invested in the question of, like, what is human versus what is AI and what is that dynamic? And especially places where they can collaborate. So, like, this could have been a slam dunk for me. But unfortunately, like, they're covered in tits. They're like, we can't sell this idea without tits on the girls. Like, we've got to do all of this. Again, like the two male Magus that we see feel like token in the sense it's like, well, we can't have every subservient character in this anime be women. It will be too obvious if we do that. We've got to have some inoffensive and unthreatening men in the background. But like, I love the idea of drifting. I love a 2-person setup, but this is just poorly deployed master-servant kink, complete with collars and collaring, and it just raises too many uncomfortable questions around the concept and dimensions of slavery, the way Star Wars does. Yeah. So, I love the mechs. I love the design. I love the idea of the Magus. Let Brian be the script doctor, but it's still an 8 out of 10 for me. I really like them.
We're rating the goddamn mechs.
Love these mechs.
The only comfort I have is that we didn't rate them higher than Promare. At least we won't have number 1 at the top of our rankings list be Synduality fucking Noir. It'll be number 2.
It'll be number 2.
But the mechs are very
good.
high for me.
Oh my god. Yeah, this is the show. This is the moment.
Watch for the mechs. Watch for the children.
Watch
and the
mechs.
The children and the babies are the mechs, by the way. That's what I mean by that.
This does just unfortunately make me want to make like a drifter persona for myself and imagine like who my Magus would be.
the video
What?
game will let you design your own drifter and Magus.
Oh, fuck! I'm gonna be so fucked when this game comes out. Bandai Namco, you can't do this to me.
I'm telling you, when I said I wanted the Bandai sponsorship, guys,
Oh my
I'm
god.
gonna be the first Gundam and Synduality Noir VTuber. But we'll talk about that after our break.
Hey guys, Alice here. So, On the Shoulders of Giants is a brand new podcast. We're still getting ourselves started. So, if you like what you're hearing and kind of want to hear more of it, maybe leave a 5-star review on your podcasting app of choice, especially if you're on Apple, because that would really help us out. And if you know anybody who might like Mechs, point them in our direction. We'd love to hear from them, and, maybe they'll like what we're giving out there. Again, if you like us, leave us a note, send us a message, leave us a review. Just, interact with us. We'd love to hear from you. And with that, let's go back to the episode.
I hate that this anime is hitting the same notes for me of the I want to fix it type.
Yeah.
You're going to write a whole AO3 fanfic with your My OC, Drifter, and Magus Do Not Steal. Totally original idea.
No, now I just want to write Brian's idea. Like, that is so nuts. The idea that, like, Kanata gets killed.
I would
and
love a quote-unquote free Magus being the pilot and, like, 2 AIs syncing. Whoa.
Yeah, because, like, what does the human bring to that scenario? They basically just drive. Like, a Magus could do that.
They really don't want to point out that it's because these are weapons of war and Magus are designed to not hurt humans, which they really hand wave.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Hey, welcome back from the break.
Game!
Let's play a fucking game. So,
I can't believe you got us beta passes to... No, I'm kidding. I had to make the joke. There is a video game attached.
Sorry, I can only get alpha passes.
Oh.
Synduality misogyny noir. Sorry, I had to get that out.
That's a good one. That's the drop.
Good one.
So Synduality Noir is a story about how having a partner and being a good partner is important. But it's not just the person that you're piloting with. Your partners are the people who are around you to support you and get you through things. So today, we're going to talk about some of the great partners and partnerships and, let's be honest, harems that exist in different forms of media. This game's kind of it's a simple take on my usual form. So I'm going to give you a list of partners that people have. So I'm going to give you the media that they're from. I'm going to give you the main character, and I'm going to give you a list of people that are partners in that series with the main character who support and get them through things. The rock town of the story. You, in turn, are going to choose who you think is the fake member of that. You're trying to identify the one that I have slipped in that I don't think you're going to find. That is generally from another media in the same genre. They just kind of, cross-pollinated. Because really, Synduality Noir told us that it was all just one show. Just take all of the things, right?
It's all just one show, and that show is bad.
But the Mechs, good. To give you a test one, so...
Okay.
Episode 4, of Star Wars, the main character being Luke Skywalker. In his group of partners, who is the fake one? Obi-Wan, Han Solo, Chewie, or Dirk?
Dirk Strider from Homestuck?
It's Dirk, because Dirk is from Spaceballs. So the stealing is, if you don't get it, it goes to the next person.
No, sorry, Dirk is from Homestuck. That's what we were just saying.
Yeah, Dirk is from Homestuck. I don't know.
Dirk is from Homestuck. I don't know who you're talking about.
All these have 4 options. I don't have a game name for this. Anybody got one?
I'll come up with something. Polycule, something like that.
Polycule.
Oh, it's the Polycule Project because of the Pascal Project.
Oh, that's
there you
good.
go. It's the Polycule Project.
Also, they just drop in Pascal,
Yeah,
and I was
who
like,
the fuck is Pascal?
you stole that shit from Near. You stole
Automata.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Automata. Also from the mathematician, but whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
Brian, you're up first.
Okay.
Bonanza is an American Western television series that ran on NBC in the 60s, which is about the Cartwright family. Our main character, Ben Cartwright, has a lot of people around him to support him in wrangling and ranching. Which one of these members is not part of his harem? Little Joe, Haas, Adam, or Doc Holliday?
Doc Holliday.
You are correct.
That's from something else.
Doc Holliday is from Tombstone.
Yeah, there we go.
He's from the famous polycule in Tombstone.
I didn't know you guys knew Tombstone. Oh.
I didn't. I just knew he was not. I had never heard of what you were talking about, and I knew that he was from not that.
That name,
But
you picked that name out. You didn't know the rest of it.
Yeah.
You never seen Bonanza, guys? Brian is right. He knows Westerns. He's our official Western-pilled little guy.
Yeah, you're our cowboy correspondent.
So Nico.
Yes.
The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya follows the crazy adventures of the SOS Brigade, a very eccentric school club. It centers around Haruhi Suzumiya,
AKA God.
ironically the person, aka God, who is not a member of the SOS Brigade, aka her harem. Yuki Nagata, Itsuki Koizumi, Rin Hoshizora, or Mikuru Asahina.
I don't remember any of their names. I just remember their hair colors.
That's anime, baby.
That's so anime.
Is it Asahina?
It is not Mikuru Asahina.
Damn.
She is the red-haired one.
God, yep. Okay.
Twin Tails. Brian, you have a chance to steal. Which one of these members is not a member of the SOS Brigade? Yuki Nagata, Itsuki Koizumi, Rin Hoshizora.
Koizumi?
It is not Kazumi.
Damn it.
Koizumi is the sexy guy.
Oh, God.
Oh, damn.
The correct answer is Rin Hoshizora, who is from Love Live.
Oh, damn.
So Alice is Mob Psycho gonna be on here with Mob's harem of...
No, I chose
Reagan.
things that I thought you guys wouldn't know.
Okay.
Intentionally. So
Okay.
at first I thought about doing ones alternating which ones you would know versus like, so I would ask Brian the Mob Psycho question and I would ask you like the League of Legends question.
Yeah, but that would make the steal too easy. Okay.
Question 3, Brian. Fast and the Furious is a movie series about sexy ladies, fast cars, and family. Who in this list isn't a member of Don's family, aka his harem? Letty Ortiz, Tej Parker, Carl Versky, or Hector?
I'm about to get roasted in the QRTs for not having seen a single Fast or Furious.
I've only seen Tokyo Drift.
Can I get them one more time?
Letty Ortiz,
Okay.
Tej Parker, Carl Versky, or Hector?
I'm going to say Carl.
That's correct. Carl Versky is from Die Hard.
Nice.
John McClane's harem. Hans Gruber.
I would make the argument Fast and the Furious is a mech anime, but that's just me. Anyway, okay. Nico.
Yes.
Hololive is a company that produces and manages VTuber idols. Hololive English is their English-speaking branch, whose most subscribed member is Gargura from the first generation Hololive English myth.
I'm trying to bring back when I made you that thank you card and I did minimal research into Hololive English so that I could make cookies on Miku Hatsune's plate. I'm manifesting that energy. Okay.
Who isn't in the same idol unit as Gargura? Narissa Ravencroft, Takanashi Kiara, Amelia Watson, or Mori Calliope?
What was the first one again?
Narissa Ravencroft.
I think it's her.
That is correct.
Yes, I remember.
Narissa is part of Gen 3.
What
Advent.
kind of fucking Neverwinter Nights ass name is that?
Oh, her whole generation.
I remembered. I'm like, okay. There's the chicken, and there's the Sherlock Holmes,
Yeah,
and there's
Amelia Watson.
the octopus.
Yeah. Brian, Cheers is an American sitcom television series that spawned a couple of great spin-offs and promoted a life of alcoholism by becoming a bar regular.
Cheers is an American live-action harem anime.
Sam Malone, the bartender, served everyone in this list as a regular except for, which one? Norm Peterson, Fraser Crane, Diane Chambers, or Brian Hackett?
Okay, I'm channeling Alicia Akampora. Come to me. Give me the answer. It's not Frasier because I know Frasier from that TV show Frasier. What was the last one again?
Brian Hackett.
That one.
That is correct. Brian Hackett is from the series Wings,
Okay.
which is also a sequel to Cheers, and also features Fraser Crane, who started on Cheers and got a spin-off series.
Yep. Toss salad and scrambled eggs.
They also brought Fraser Brack, didn't they?
Yeah, for one crappy season. You want to see the worst trying to get your career going again ever? Go watch that piece of shit.
Damn, OSG Pod's strong stances on the Frasier reboot.
Oh my god. There's a reason nobody else came back. Okay, Nico. Question 6. Sword Art Online follows a group of people first trapped, then voluntarily being a part of advanced alternative reality gaming, leading to one of the most expansive harems in modern anime.
Oh, this is like the Seattle-Portland polycule.
Yeah, literally every series is just adding more members. Who in this list isn't a part of Kirito's harem? Yuki Asuna. I've never seen this person's last name. Koirui Maki Karen. Alice Zuberg. Or Asita Shino.
The only thing I know about Sword Art Online was the parody and anime crimes division of Solitaire Art Online. Oh, I think it's the first one. I think it's Yuki.
It is not.
Oh,
Yuki Asuna is the main girl from Sword Art Online.
I only watch good anime, except for the time Alice made me watch Synduality, Noir, and The Price of Smiles.
That list is going to keep growing. Brian, who is not part of Kirito's harem? Koiruki Maki Karen, Alice Zuberg, or Asata Shino?
Alice Zuberg?
It is not.
I knew it. I knew it was a fake out.
Alice Zuberg from the Sword Art Online Alicization, named after me, Alice. The correct answer is Koirumaki Karen, who is Lynn from Gun Gale Online, a spinoff. She is not part of the harem as she does not interact with Kirito.
Oh, well, thank God. Alice, the depths you plumb for content. The places you go. Don't go where I can't follow.
Imagine I make a normal ass fucking game. Imagine.
I watched the first season of Sword Art Online and then I was like, well, can't get any of that time back.
Yeah, it's like, okay. And then they keep going back into virtual reality over and over again after they get out.
If you were trapped in World of Warcraft for so long that your body atrophied, why would you log back on ever again?
If you were trapped in World of Warcraft and 9,000 people died because of that, and you were one of those survivors, maybe deal with the trauma. I don't know.
Min will literally log back into VR instead of going to therapy.
Literally.
All right, guys, we have a bonus question.
Oh, it's been so long.
The bonus question will go back and forth until one of you gets the answer, and this one is worth 3 points.
Oh, boy.
In the quintessential quintuplets, the poor but dedicated student Futaro is hired to tutor a group of female quintuplets, eventually marrying one of them by the end of the series. Which of these is not one of the 5 quintuplets? Miku, Itsuki, Chizuru, Nino, Ichika, or Yatsuba? Brian, we'll start with you.
I have to say Nino. I don't want her name on this. Please.
It is not Nino.
Damn it.
Nino is one of the quintessential quintuplets. All right, Nico, you have a chance to steal. That leaves us with Miku, Itsuki, Chizuru, Ichika, or Yatsuba.
Is it Yatsuba or Yotsuba?
Yotsuba.
Okay, I'm going to say Yotsuba because I don't want Yotsuba from Yotsuba and associated with this.
It is not Yotsuba.
Damn it!
She is one of the quintessential quintuplets.
Brian, none of ours are safe.
All right, back to you, Brian. That leaves us with Miku, Itsuki, Chizuru, or Ichika.
I'm going to say Miku. We're trying to protect these people out
Yeah,
here.
we're trying to take bullets.
It is not Miku. She is, in fact, one of the quintessential quintuplets.
Oh, this is so fucked.
This is making me sweat.
Nico, that takes us back to you.
Oh my God.
Which one of these is not a quintessential quintuplet, which I have now said 15 times?
You've said it like a million times.
I love saying it. It's the dumbest thing. Itsuki, Chizuru, or Ichika?
Itsuki almost sounds like Mitsuki. I'm gonna take that bullet. Let's say Itsuki.
It is not Itsuki. Itsuki is, in fact, one of the 5 of the quintuplet.
We gotta be running out of women.
Brian, we're down to 2. Is it Chizuru or Ichika?
Chizuru.
It is Chizuru!
Woo!
Who is from Rent-A-Girlfriend, also a terrible harem anime.
Oh my God, that was hard. That hurt.
That was a gauntlet.
So, Brian, you get 3 points, which you were already gonna win. You are now the victor. Congratulations.
God, I'm so good at this bad thing that people do
You
with
did.
media that they create.
And Brian, your prize, you now get a harem of anime girls.
Do I get a Magus?
No, you actually just get the quintessential quintuplets, including Nino.
No, I want a Dilf Magus.
Sorry, we're comp-heading you.
One sec, my thumb is ringing. Oh my god, I've just gotten a flash transmission on my thumb ring. Guys, we better answer this, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's important.
It's our duty.
Dear OSG, I'm a very talented and skilled magus who has been paired with a great drifter. We've been partners for a while now, but I feel like our relationship has started to become more dull and lost the excitement it once had. Just the other day, he slipped out and went to a brothel without letting me know. I caught up to him before he did anything, but feels like even though I'm always by his side, he's only thinking of finding another magus. What can I do to be the key that he is looking for to unlock his heart? Any tips for how to make our mind link more romantic? Thanks. Dead in the coffin.
Leave him.
Yeah, what's your advice? Just leave.
Leave him. Find another magus. Pilot a mech together. Be the Yuri that the world needs, but doesn't deserve right now.
Listen, if you are by chance wearing a collar that limits your ability to leave this person or enter another contract, I need you to know that that's not normal, that's not healthy, and there is hope. You can get out. So the victims of domestic violence... No, but girl, you gotta, okay, what you gotta do is you gotta find a shonen protagonist. Okay? That's the only power in this world that is gonna get you out of literal slavery. Okay? So you gotta go find you a shonen protag. The one you're thinking of is already taken. Like, he's overburdened. There's too many in the harem.
But there's still hope, because you can double speak all of your master's weaknesses to him.
Yeah. Like, you're already good at this. You have the skills you need, but you just need to find a different shonen protag.
Yeah.
So, like, I have it on good authority that there are just loose men around Tokyo. You know, the guy...
Loose men be finding women. Be the one.
Just, like, see what you can get going with some of the men who may or may not be in the orbit of this ambiguously bisexual man. Like, just get in there, okay?
Exactly.
He already picked up one shonen protag. He could find another. Just keep an eye out, okay?
My advice is, think he used those ice powers of yours on his nipples, you know? Bring some excitement back into the bedroom, you know? Play around.
See, that won't even work because we know he doesn't fuck.
Can she?
Not all sex has to be penetrative, okay?
Can Maguses use their powers to, like, that level of precision and control, or would she end up just fully blasting him into fucking...
The scene in which Seal uses her electricity to recharge a battery shows that you can have very minute control of it. Well, anyway, good luck. We hope you find a nice Magus to pilot and leave that to.
And please, if you're going to walk down the road, walk down the shoulder, not the middle.
Not the middle.
Friendly advice.
All right. And that's this episode of On the Shoulders of Giants, where we discussed Synduality Noir Season 1. Any parting thoughts, guys?
I would simply, if I were show running an anime, I would simply make it not racist.
Look out for my Fix-It fic for this entire show and concept coming to an AO3 near you.
Seal is my wife.
Yeah.
Not anybody else's waifu, is my closing thought.
What if they had AO3, like, newspaper airport terminal stands?
What, where you just print one?
Just pick up a little missive to read on the train.
Oh, like doesn't the Kansas City airport have the short story dispenser that prints on a receipt? Yeah, we'll just get ficlet dispensers. You can just press a button and we'll make it gay for you.
Press a button, make it gay. That's the new motto of OSG.
Thanks for listening. Pilots, remember, you can reach out for advice from our team at our email, questions@osgpod.com, and non-pilots can send general questions or feedback to the same address. You can also catch up with us on social media, links in the description, for updates and more. Make sure to check back in 2 weeks where we'll be discussing Iron Widow, Part 1. Until then, goodbye, I love you.
Goodbye!
Sayonara, daisuki.
Daisuke.